Welcome to our division flipped video. This is the traditional way of doing long division. So if you have any questions, please contact one of your teachers. Remember that you need to write down the definitions, you need to do the examples and the non-examples on your homework, you need to complete your Think Through Math sheet, and you need to practice your math facts at least 5 minutes a day, or if you want to do 20 minutes once a week, then you can do that also. But you do need to practice your multiplication facts and you need to practice your division facts since we're getting into division. We need to work on building that strength. Make sure that you have all parts of your homework done, because if you don't, then you're not going to get credit for your homework if you don't have all parts done, including Think Through Math, having your math facts done, and writing down your definitions and doing your examples and non-examples. Remember, an example is just an example of whatever the definition is, and your non-example is whatever is not that definition. So let's get started. What is division? Division is a splitting of larger numbers into smaller numbers. Let's go over your vocabulary that you're going to write down. So, if I have 36 divided by 6, the divisor, this is the number you divide by. That's this number. The dividend, this is the number that lives in the house, the number that you break down. It's right there. And your quotient, that's the answer to your division problem. So that would be your quotient. Make sure to write these down and give an example and non-example of these. So, the way that I like to do division is, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? It's an easy way to remember how to divide. So I'm going to do 86 divided by 4. First, I'm going to say does. Does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. How many times does 4 go into 8? Well, I know that would be 2 times. And I'm going to put a multiplication symbol here. So, does is divide. I divided 4 goes into 8 2 times. Then I'm going to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8, and I'm going to write that under the house. Then I'm going to go with sell, which is subtract. I'm going to subtract. That gives me 0. I'm going to check. Is 0 smaller than 4? Yes, it is. And then the burgers, I'm going to bring down my number 6. Now I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 4 go into 6? That's going to be 1 time, because 4 times 1 is 4. So I'm going to go 4 times 1 is 4, and I'm going to write that under the house. Then I'm going to go to sell. That's subtract. I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. I'm going to check. Is 2 smaller than 4? Correct, it is. So that means that I am done, and I have a remainder of 2. Now I can check. I can do 21 times 4. Well, it doesn't work out. Well, because I forgot to add my remainder. I have to add my remainder. And now it does work. So that worked. Let's do another one. 97 divided by 4. Notice it's not 4 divided by 97. It's 97 split into 4 groups. So I'm going to say, how many times, I'm going to do the does. How many times does this 4 go into 9? Well, that's going to be 2. I'm going to put a multiplication symbol here, and then I'm going to go McDonald's. 4 times 2 is 8. Then I'm going to go sell, which is subtract, and that's 1. I'm going to check. Is 1 smaller than 4? Yes, it is. So now I can bring down. I'm going to bring down my number 7. Now, I'm going to make a new division problem here. That helps also whenever you make a new division problem. All your numbers need to go back on the top, but now I want to say, how many times does 4 go into 17? Well, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16. So I want to get close to 17 without going over it. Now I'm going to go 4 times the number 4 that I wrote up here. 4 times 4 is 16. Then I'm going to subtract, and that's 1. Is 1 smaller than 4? Yes, it is. Do I have anything left to bring down? No. So I have a remainder of 1. So I'm going to go 24 times 4. That's 96, but I'm not at 97 because I have to add my remainder, which is 1. And now I have 97, and so my answer checks, and it's correct. Let's go with 608 divided by 6. Okay? First, I'm going to say, how many times does 6 go into 6? Well, that's easy, 1. Then I'm going to multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. Then I'm going to go to cell, which is subtract, 0. Then I'm going to check. Well, yes, 0 is smaller than 6. Then I'm going to bring down my 0. Uh-oh, I have a problem. I have 2 zeros here. If I make my new problem, it doesn't work. So do I just double bring down and bring down the 8? The answer is no. You still have to go through all of these steps every time. You can only bring down one number at a time. It's like the slide at recess. We only let one person go down the slide at a time. Only one number can come down at a time. So I have to say, how many times does 6 go into 0? Well, that has to be 0 because 6 times 0 is 0. Now I go to cell, subtract, and then 0. And yes, 0 is smaller than 6. So now I can bring down the 8. And now I can see how many times 6 goes into 8. Well, 6 goes into 8 one time because 6 times 1 is 6. 2. So is 2 smaller than 6? Check yes. There's nothing else to bring down. I am done. I have a remainder of 2. Now I can check. 101 times 6 is 606 plus 2 is 608. If you run into a 0 here, you still have to go through all of the steps. You cannot double bring down. You can only bring down one number at a time. Okay, let's go with 880 divided by 8. Well, 8 goes into 8 one time. 8 times 1 from McDonald's is 8. Cell, subtract, 0. Check, is 0 smaller than 8? Yes, I'm going to bring down the other 8. 8, I'm going to make a new division problem here. 8 goes into 8 one time. 8 times 1 is 8. Cell, subtract, 0. Then I have 0, so I'm done, right? No, I still have to bring down the 0. Now I'm done, because I can't do any division, correct? Wrong. I still have to go through all of the steps. I have to say, how many times does 8 go into 0, 0? 0 times. So that's does, divide. McDonald's, multiply. 8 times 0 is 0. Then I subtract. Cell, 0 minus 0 is 0. Check, is 0 smaller than 8? Yes. So I can come over here. Whoops. And there's nothing left to bring down, so I am done. If there is something still to bring down, you still have to bring it down. In this problem, I still had to bring down the 0 because it was there. I couldn't just ignore it because it's a 0. I still had to do something with it, and I had to go through all of my steps. Now I'm going to check it with multiplication. And my answer checks because I did not have a remainder. Last problem. 123 divided by 6. 6 does. Can it go into 1? It cannot. So do I just skip to the 2? Well, it doesn't go into the 2. And the 3 doesn't go into 3, so am I done? Is my answer 0? No. I have to go with 12. How many times does 6 go into 12? I know that 6 times 2, McDonald's, multiply, is 12. Then I have to cell, subtract, 0. Check. Is 0 smaller than 6? Yes. Now I'm going to bring down the 3. Well, my answer should be 12, 2, remainder 3, right? Because I can't do anything with this 3. Doesn't matter. You still have to go through the steps anyway. I have to say, how many times does 6 go into 3? It goes in there 0. Then I have to go to McDonald's. 6 times 0 is 0. Then I have to go to cell, subtract, which is 3. And then I have to check, is 3 smaller than 6? Yes, it is. Is there anything left to bring down? No, there's not. So now my remainder is 3. And if I do 20 times 6, well, that's a basic fact. So I know that's 120 because 6 times 2 is 12. Put a 0. Then I add the 3, 123. It checks. So watch this video as many times as you need to make sure that you understand. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But I do want you to watch this video multiple times.